He shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. Those words are not poetry. They are protection. When you step into Psalm 91, you step under a covenant where hidden attacks lose their strength, where unseen arrows lose their direction, and where dangers you never noticed are defeated before they even reach you. This prayer is for you if you've been sensing pressure in the spirit, if you've been feeling watched, drained, or unsettled without knowing why. It is for anyone who knows the battle is quiet but real. And if you believe the blood of Jesus will fight for you, then like this video, because your like is not just a click. When you tap it, you cast down projections, you interrupt demonic assignments, you break invisible chains. And when you share this prayer, you are not just sending a link. You are sending deliverance into someone's family, someone's WhatsApp group, someone's silent battle. If you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment and subscribe so you never walk through warfare uncovered. And before we begin, let me ask you a question. Where have you been sensing hidden pressure or silent attacks? Comment it below, because your voice in the comments becomes a point of agreement in prayer. Stay with me until the end. Don't step away. Spiritual things shift quietly, and what happens mid-prayer often becomes the turning point. Let's begin. You come under the shadow of the Almighty, in a covering no enemy can penetrate. And as you stand in the secret place of the Most High, every arrow fired against you is intercepted by God's faithfulness. You walk with the assurance that the same God who shut the mouths of the lions sent against Daniel is shutting the mouths of every demonic accuser whispering lies against you. Every trap crafted by Sanballat and Tobiah is exposed before it reaches your path, and his presence becomes your shield, making every hidden attack powerless. You breathe with the awareness of angelic defense surrounding you, like the horses and chariots of fire that encircled Elisha. Every force attempting to monitor your progress is struck with blindness before it understands what God is doing in your life. Plans rising from the spirit of Jezebel collapse before they form, and every ambush loses direction in the light that follows you. You walk calmly, knowing heaven stands watch over every detail concerning you. You step into this day shielded from the spirit of Pharaoh that seeks to drag you backward. The Lord rises as your defender and breaks every chariot pursuing your destiny. Patterns of bondage lose their grip, and angels guard the borders of your purpose, ensuring that no enemy resembling Haman succeeds in hidden counsel. Every wicked plan turns into its own downfall as the Lord reverses the intentions of those who plot against you. You stand firm because God's wings hide you from traps too deep for human perception. Every scheme crafted by the spirit of Herod that seeks to cut short your rising is shattered before it reaches you. The Lord becomes your armor, shielding you even from what your eyes cannot see. His nearness steadies your heart, reassuring you that no unseen weapon can slip past his defense. You rise unshaken because every terror designed to frighten you has already been intercepted by the angels assigned to your destiny. Every night watcher sent by Balak loses power the moment the Lord's name is invoked. Curses engineered by Balaam dissolve instantly because the one who defends you does not sleep. Your atmosphere is covered, guarded, and saturated with divine protection. You move forward, trusting that no shadow carrying the spirit of Athaliah can cross the divine boundary around your life. Plans sent to destroy what God is building collapse before they mature. Psalms 91 becomes a living decree over your life, an active covenant, sealing every vulnerable place with divine strength. You walk knowing you are preserved in ways beyond your understanding. You remain untouchable to terrors that move quietly. Every arrow shot during your moments of vulnerability bends away from your path. Every pestilence lurking in darkness loses its assignment as the Lord shields your life the same way he distinguished Israel from the plagues of Egypt. You rest under his defense, untouched by threats that never reach your awareness. You dwell securely because God's truth becomes your armor, covering every exposed place. Schemes designed in secrecy unravel before they manifest. Betrayals resembling Absalom's devices crumble before they are executed. The Lord frustrates the counsel of wicked hearts and ensures you never walk into danger unknowingly. His light reveals and destroys every snare. You overcome because the Lord sets a spiritual boundary no adversary can cross. Every night terror, every psychic arrow, every projection of fear collapses under his name. Angels guard your sleep, your thoughts, and your rising. Nothing assigned to cause panic, confusion, or despair can remain near your dwelling. You awaken refreshed, wrapped in divine calm. You become a witness to God's mercy as he shields you from traps crafted in silence. Schemes whispered in darkness scatter as his angels carry you above danger. Loud, intimidating enemies resembling Goliath are silenced by his presence. You continue in quiet strength, knowing nothing sent against you can stand. You walk confidently because the Lord becomes your invisible wall of defense, surrounding you as he surrounded Job. Every voice of accusation loses its volume before it reaches your heart. No hidden ambush unfolds because angels intercept what was meant to surprise you. Heaven covers what your senses cannot perceive, ensuring your life remains secure. 1. You continue forward without fear because the Most High assigns warriors to your path. Every snare designed by Sanballat collapses instantly, and every mocking influence from Tobiah fades before it touches your mind. Just as God opened the eyes of Elisha's servant to see the armies of heaven, he opens your perception so you know you are never outnumbered. Light outshines every watcher in darkness. You remain covered because no scheme resembling Haman's can stand before God's justice. Plots prepared in silence fail before they mature, overturned by divine intervention. What was meant to harm you transforms into evidence of God's faithfulness. Every wicked expectation boomerangs against its sender, and you walk forward, unshaken. You rise because God shields you from premature attacks designed by the spirit of Herod. Every assignment to silence your influence or delay your rising is broken before it approaches. God sharpens your discernment so you can differentiate his voice from deception. Angels stand at the gates of your household, allowing no evil decree to enter. You move in strength because curses whispered in darkness cannot override God's blessing on your life. Every enchantment fashioned by Balaam evaporates in the presence of divine favor. The atmosphere around you aligns with the word of the Lord, and every negative whisper loses its power. You remain lifted because blessings outweigh curses. You stay defended because every manipulation resembling Jezebel's strategy collapses in the presence of God's truth. Intimidation loses its hold, confusion cannot settle, and control breaks before it touches your emotions. The Lord sharpens your perception, allowing you to see danger before it forms. You move with clarity and calm confidence. You walk steadily because God exposes and disrupts every Absalom-like betrayal planned in secret. False friends, deceptive alliances, and hidden motives are revealed before they harm you. The Lord shields your relationships, guiding you away from harmful connections. You continue untouched because God refuses to let betrayal prosper against you. You dwell in safety because pestilences that move in darkness cannot locate you. Every silent affliction and every unseen threat collapses at the edge of God's presence. The same distinction that protected Israel in Egypt rests on your home, your body, and your steps. You walk in the assurance that invisible dangers cannot override divine covenant. You continue in peace because the Lord shields you from every terror of the night. Arrows fired at your mind, your rest, or your peace reverse direction before they approach you. Every intimidating force resembling Goliath finds itself silenced in God's presence. You sleep under angelic watch and rise strengthened. You walk with stability because snares laid before your feet are revealed and destroyed before you reach them. Plots crafted, like those formed against David, crumble under divine light. God guides your decisions and protects your movements, ensuring you never step into danger unknowingly. Your path remains guarded by the one who never fails. You keep moving forward under the covering of the Almighty, and every hidden ambush formed against you dissolves before it finds expression. Forces that gather like the enemies surrounding Elisha remain blind to your path because heaven surrounds you with a greater army. Every whisper of Sanballat and Tobiah loses its influence, and every shadow trying to monitor your steps is struck with blindness before it approaches. You walk in this day shielded by divine presence that intercepts danger long before it forms. SSCE. You rise without fear because the spirit of Pharaoh cannot drag you backward. The Lord himself stands between you and every force attempting to reclaim your destiny. What once pursued you loses its authority the moment God stretches out his hand. You walk free, knowing no enemy resembling Haman can succeed in hidden counsel, for the Lord overturns their plots and causes their own plans to consume them. You continue in peace because heaven has already responded on your behalf. 1. You remain guarded as God uproots every hidden trap fashioned in darkness. Schemes crafted like those against David disintegrate before you reach them. Every premature attack sent by the spirit of Herod is broken before its completion. Decrees that sought to silence you, diminish you, or restrict you lose their voice the moment God stands as your defender. You become unreachable to enemies who operate in secrecy, for angels shield every entrance of your life. You walk beyond the reach of Balaam's enchantments and Balak's curses, because the blessing of the Lord overrides every negative decree spoken against you. Words spoken in jealousy, bitterness, or malice evaporate in the presence of divine truth. Manipulations resembling Jezebel's strategies lose their grip, and intimidation meant to shake your confidence collapses before it touches your emotions. The Lord strengthens your discernment, enabling you to sense danger before it forms and walk away from every deceptive voice. You remain steady because Absalom-like betrayals cannot prosper against you. Every false friend, deceptive ally, or hidden competitor is exposed before they can cause harm. The Lord protects your relationships from sabotage and shields your heart from emotional injury. You dwell under divine distinction, untouched by pestilence, affliction, or silent spiritual attack that moves in darkness. The same God who preserved Israel from the plagues surrounds you with a wall that sickness cannot penetrate. You continue in peace because every terror of the night is reversed before it nears you. Arrows fired at your sleep, your mind, or your peace lose direction and return to the sender. Goliath-like threats, loud, forceful, intimidating, fall silent in the presence of God. Angels stand watch over your rest, ensuring your spirit awakens, renewed, protected, and lifted. You walk with stability because every snare laid for your feet is shattered before you approach it. You rise with confidence because no uprising resembling Korah's rebellion can destabilize your path. God exposes the roots of every silent revolt before it matures. You remain safe from group conspiracies that gather in secret, for the Lord scatters their unity and breaks their agreement. You move in quiet power, knowing no collective wickedness can stand when God releases confusion into the camp of the enemy. You stand strong because every Delilah-like trap that seeks to drain your strength is dismantled by God before it touches your destiny. People, opportunities, or situations designed to weaken your spiritual fire lose their access to your environment. The Lord sharpens your insight so deeply that you discern dishonor at its earliest whisper and identify betrayal long before it speaks. You walk in wisdom that protects you from subtle destruction. You remain covered because no Nimrod-like hunter can track your rising. God blinds every spiritual pursuer and confuses every monitoring spirit sent to stalk your destiny. Your footsteps disappear from the maps of the wicked, and your path becomes invisible to those who seek to interfere with your progress. You walk with divine discretion, shielded from premature exposure and spiritual surveillance. You continue forward because every Athaliah-like spirit that seeks to cut off destinies before they mature is judged by God. Your purpose, your ideas, and your assignments remain under divine custody. No wicked counsel gains access to what God is building in you. Your potential grows untouched, unthreatened, unfearful of sabotage, because the Lord Himself preserves what He planted within you. You walk protected from traps, disguised as opportunities. The Lord guards you from Gehazi-like greed and all manipulations designed to lure you into decisions that carry hidden danger. You remain centered, guided, and aligned with truth. No bait of the enemy catches your attention, for the Lord stabilizes your desires and keeps your spirit anchored in wisdom. You stay unshaken because words designed to intimidate you, like the voice of Rabshakeh, lose their power the moment they approach your atmosphere. God becomes the stability of your thoughts, silencing every mocking voice, every discouraging whisper, every psychological arrow aimed at your confidence. You continue with clarity, protected from emotional warfare launched by dark forces. You remain secure because no Joseph, like betrayal from within your circle, can destroy your path. God shields your dreams from premature exposure and protects your rising from household sabotage. Envy, jealousy, and silent competition lose their influence around you. You move with peace, knowing your destiny is preserved by hands greater than human emotion. You continue anchored because every sudden attack resembling the madness of King Saul is restrained by God. Emotional storms, unpredictable anger, and unexpected hostility cannot uproot the stability He has placed within you. You remain anchored in calm strength, untouched by chaotic spirits that rise through troubled hearts. God becomes your shield against volatility. You walk in preservation because every Amalekite-like attack, those aimed at your weak points, your vulnerable moments, your weary hours, is intercepted by divine intervention. The Lord strengthens every fragile place, ensuring sudden battles cannot break your rhythm or steal your progress. You continue with a steady spirit, guarded by the presence of the Almighty. You rise in clarity because every deception resembling the serpent in Eden loses its influence over your decisions. God shields your thoughts from subtle misleadings, those gentle lies that appear harmless but carry poisonous intentions. Divine wisdom becomes your armor, keeping your steps safe from traps that others fall into. You walk with eyes open and heart steady, guided by truth. You move forward, protected from collective conspiracies resembling the builders of Babel. Every unity formed to oppose your rising is scattered by God. Every agreement built to block your progress is disrupted. You continue unhindered because God dismantles the strategies of the wicked before they manifest. You walk safely because every Abimelech-like manipulator, those who smile while holding hidden daggers, is exposed before entering your environment. God reveals intentions before they unfold, preserving your peace and protecting your space. You walk with guarded clarity, immune to deceptive alliances. You remain defended because every Cain-like jealousy, silent bitterness, or hidden competition cannot harm you, while God watches over your relationships. The Lord purifies your circle and removes dangerous hearts before they can approach. You continue with confidence because no hidden hatred can overpower divine protection. You rest in victory because every Midianite-like attack, those that steal harvests and drain strength, is stopped before it reaches your territory. God guards the fruits of your labor and preserves the work of your hands. Nothing sent to diminish your progress succeeds because the Lord defends your breakthrough. You continue in quiet authority because every Daniel-like conspiracy, plots formed in secret to damage your name or undermine your honor, is dismantled before it matures. God silences false accusers and destroys lying tongues. Your integrity remains intact because heaven bears witness to your righteousness. You remain covered because every trap resembling Potiphar's wife's seduction, setups designed to destroy your credibility or entangle your purity, is exposed and avoided. God gives you discernment to walk away from situations meant to stain your reputation. You continue protected by the shield of righteousness. You stand unshaken because every Philistine-like ambush is intercepted before it rises. The Lord strengthens you with supernatural alertness, revealing danger before it reaches your borders. You walk in confidence, knowing divine strength empowers you to stand firm against unexpected battles. And you continue victorious because every Egyptian pursuit sent to drag you back into old cycles is drowned by the waters of divine judgment. What once chased you can no longer find you. The past loses its grip, the old chains break, and the Red Sea of God's deliverance closes behind you. You walk in unstoppable strength because every ambush resembling the sudden uprising of the Edomites is overturned before it forms. Those who wait for a moment of weakness to strike are met by the fire of God before they approach your borders. The Lord stands as your unshakable defender, blocking every adversary that believes your vulnerability is an open gate. You remain protected because God Himself becomes the wall around your destiny, making it impossible for calculated enemies to gain access. Until you stay steadfast, because the Lord dismantles every whispering accusation resembling the slander of Ziba against Mephibosheth. Every false report spoken behind your back loses its influence, for God becomes your witness, your judge, and your defender. He protects your reputation, your name, and your honor. You walk upright because heaven speaks on your behalf, even when you remain silent. You remain covered because every deception resembling the flattery of the Gibeonites is revealed before it draws near. God shields you from agreements that look harmless but carry hidden spiritual danger. He exposes false motives, revealing the truth behind every smiling face. You continue forward, guided by divine caution, protected from covenant traps disguised as opportunities. You walk guarded because every siege resembling Sennacherib's attempt to surround Israel collapses before it reaches your home. Threats that try to encircle your peace, economic pressures, emotional intimidation, spiritual warfare, lose their power when God steps into your environment. No siege can prevail where the presence of the Almighty dwells. You remain unreachable, covered by His sustaining grace. Then you stay defended because every ambush resembling the treachery of Joab is stopped before it catches you unaware. Surprise attacks, hidden betrayal, and dangers rising from unexpected places lose their path, for God shields your blind spots. The Lord covers your back, your sides, and every angle from which the enemy hopes to strike. You continue strong because every plot resembling Sanballat's attempt to distract Nehemiah loses access to your mind. God strengthens your hands for the assignment He has given you. Discouragement, mockery, and manipulation fall powerless at your feet. You walk with focus, unshaken by voices designed to break your momentum. You remain secure because every spirit resembling Jeroboam's rebellion, designed to divide, confuse, or mislead you from your spiritual alignment, is silenced by God. The Lord keeps you grounded, rooted, and anchored in truth. No internal confusion or relational division can uproot what God has established in your life. You move protected because every Philistine-like gathering in the valley is scattered before it gains strength. Enemies that join forces to overwhelm you find their strategy ruined by divine intervention. Their unity collapses, their communication fails, and their plan dissolves under the weight of God's authority. You move forward boldly, knowing no meeting of darkness can stand against you. And not turned it to. You rise with confidence because every destructive force resembling the wind that struck Job's household is restrained before it touches your life. Sudden storms, unexpected shocks, and violent disruptions lose their assignment at the command of the Almighty. You remain stable because your foundation rests in the God who cannot be shaken. You continue in victory because every pit, resembling the one dug for Jeremiah, is rendered powerless. The Lord rescues you before danger matures. Nets set secretly to trap your feet remain empty, for heaven stands between you and the plans of evil hearts. You rise with quiet assurance, knowing divine intervention meets every scheme aimed at your downfall. You stay secure because every uprising resembling the Moabite assault is dissolved by God before it reaches your atmosphere. What rises suddenly to overpower you is intercepted instantly by His presence. Nothing catches you unaware because nothing catches God unaware. His protection covers your hours, your seasons, and your movements. You walk protected because every manipulative tactic resembling Laban's shifting of boundaries is broken. The Lord prevents anyone from cheating you out of what rightfully belongs to you. Your blessings cannot be stolen, your progress cannot be manipulated, and your harvest cannot be diverted. God guards your portion with divine justice. You continue forward because every recurring attack resembling the torment of the Midianites is broken permanently. Cycles that return to wear you down lose their power. The Lord destroys not only the event, but the pattern itself. You rise into a future free from repetitive warfare. You remain guarded because every tale-bearing voice resembling Doeg the Edomite is silenced before its words take root. God protects your image from malicious tongues. False narratives cannot prosper, for heaven testifies on your behalf. You stay at peace because the truth of God surrounds your identity. You walk in purity because every contamination resembling the greed of Achan is removed from your environment. The Lord cleanses the atmosphere around you, stripping away influences that carry spiritual pollution. Nothing corrupted remains near your dwelling. You continue in the holiness of His presence. You stay protected because every spirit resembling the bitterness of Herod Antipas cannot rise against your life. The Lord breaks the power of wounded pride and emotional revenge. No retaliation born from offense can override the shield God has placed around you. You walk in peace, guarded from the unstable hearts of others. You move in clarity because every influence resembling the flattery of the false prophets misguiding Jehoshaphat is exposed. God removes voices that speak sweet words without divine truth. He surrounds you with counsel that aligns with His will, ensuring your steps remain directed by wisdom and not deception. You stand preserved because every oppressive work resembling the cruelty of Israel's taskmasters cannot bind you. Workloads meant to crush your spirit are lifted by the Lord. Expectations designed to overwhelm you lose their weight. God becomes the strength of your shoulders and gives rest to your soul. No one's deity saying you remain protected because every treachery resembling Judas's betrayal is revealed before it approaches your table. Hidden motives, misplaced loyalties, and deceptive closeness lose their cover in the light of God's discernment. You walk with confidence, surrounded only by those aligned with your destiny. You continue unshaken because every storm, resembling the violent wind that threatened Paul's voyage, is calmed by God before it derails your destiny. No resistance from nature circumstances, or spiritual forces can interrupt what He has ordained. You reach every destination God has assigned to you. You walk secured because every collective sabotage, resembling the rebellion of Joseph's brothers, loses access to your rising. The Lord prevents jealousy-driven schemes from hindering your progress. What was meant to harm you becomes the very platform God uses to elevate you. You stay unconfused because every counterfeit power, resembling the sorcery of Janel and Jambres, is exposed before it deceives you. God breaks illusions and reveals the emptiness behind manipulative displays. You remain anchored in truth, guided by the authenticity of His presence. You walk empowered because every coordinated ambush resembling Ben-Hadad's strategies is scattered. The Lord reveals the enemy's plans before they unfold. You are defended by divine intelligence that keeps you one step ahead of every attack. You remain protected because every false, prophetic influence resembling Jezebel's manipulations is unmasked. God preserves your spirit from corrupt voices, misleading teachings, and deceptive leaders. You continue under the purity of His guidance. You stay victorious because every intimidation resembling Goliath's threats collapses before it reaches your spirit. The Lord reduces every loud challenge to nothing. You move without fear, for the battle belongs to Him. You walk in clarity because every serpent-like suggestion sent to whisper confusion into your atmosphere loses access to your thoughts. God guards your mind with truth, ensuring lies, half-truths, and subtle temptations cannot take root. You remain fortified because every invasion resembling Babylon's attempt to steal spiritual treasure is stopped before it breaches your inner world. God guards your peace, your identity, and your spiritual inheritance. You stand dignified because every arrogant spirit resembling Nebuchadnezzar's pride loses power in your environment. The Lord humbles the proud and exalts the obedient. You continue honored under divine authority. You walk unharmed because every fire resembling the furnace prepared for the 3 Hebrews loses its heat when God stands beside you. Flames designed to destroy you become testimonies of your protection. You emerge untouched and stronger. You remain defended because every plot resembling the silent conspiracy of the Zephites against David is exposed before it reaches your ears. The Lord uncovers every hidden informer, every secret observer, every person pretending loyalty while feeding your movements to those who wish you harm. God turns every hidden surveillance into confusion, ensuring that no informant can deliver knowledge of your steps to the enemy. You walk with peace because the Lord protects both your actions and your locations. You stay unmovable because every spirit resembling the cruelty of the Assyrians, brutal, relentless, and merciless, loses power when confronted by the presence of God. What rises with aggression and violent intimidation collapses before it reaches your gate. The Lord pushes back forces that seek to dominate your atmosphere with fear. You remain stable because heaven refuses to let any oppressive power control your environment. You continue forward because every plot resembling the treachery of Gehazi, greed, corruption, and wrongful access is denied entrance into your space. God removes individuals who desire what is yours without embracing the discipline required to carry it. He blocks every greedy spirit attempting to attach itself to your blessing. You remain protected from those who desire position but lack purity. You walk preserved because every threat resembling the assassination attempts against David by Saul loses its direction. The Lord diverts every weapon, every arrow, and every hand stretched towards you with violent intent. Sudden anger, unexpected hostility, and irrational hatred lose their ability to touch your life. You remain lifted because God intervenes where human logic fails. You rise in assurance because every trap, resembling the nets laid by the Pharisees to entangle Jesus in His words, is dismantled before it is spoken. The Lord protects your speech, guards your responses, and shields your conversations. No question framed to ensnare you, no dialogue designed to misinterpret you, and no accusation crafted to twist your words can prosper. God defends your voice and your integrity. You stay secure because every spiritual ambush resembling the hidden attack of the Amalekites on the Israelites' rear, aimed at the weary, the tired, and the unguarded portions, fails before it approaches. The Lord strengthens your weak points and fortifies your vulnerable places. No enemy can access the areas of your life that feel exposed or fragile. You continue under divine reinforcement. You remain protected because every uprising resembling Korah's rebellion, those who challenge what God has established, cannot prosper near you. The Lord shuts down voices that oppose divine authority and silences hearts that resist what He has ordained. You move unshaken because every challenge rooted in pride, disrespect, or rebellion is handled by the hand of God, not by your strength. You walk untouched because every attack resembling the destructive jealousy of the Philistine leaders toward Isaac's prosperity loses its power. Those who envy your blessings, resent your progress, or feel threatened by your rising cannot hinder your destiny. God causes you to flourish in places designed to suppress you, and He enlarges your space where others hoped you would shrink. You grow beyond the reach of jealous hearts or tongue. You stay protected because every deception resembling the trickery of Jacob toward Esau cannot approach your inheritance. The Lord covers your blessings from manipulative hands and protects your future from those who attempt to steal what God has written with your name. No impersonation, no misrepresentation, and no fraudulent spirit can take what He has ordained for you. You continue in victory because every storm resembling the sea tempest that threatened the disciples is calmed by the command of the Lord. Waves that attempt to drown your confidence, winds that try to scatter your peace, and currents designed to pull you off course lose their force instantly. You walk through the turbulence with divine stability because the master of the storm stands in your boat. You remain protected because every coordinated attack resembling the alliance of kings that pursued Joshua loses structure before it forms. Forces that gather in groups with shared hatred, shared fear, or shared intention to wound you are scattered by the breath of the Lord. Their unity breaks, their counsel divides, and their plans dissolve into confusion. You walk forward untouched because God refuses to let multiple enemies succeed where one has already failed. You stay secure because every manipulation resembling the oppression of Potiphar toward Joseph is overturned. The Lord does not allow false accusation, wrongful judgment, or unfair treatment to define your story. What was meant to imprison you becomes the doorway to your elevation. Every injustice loses power because God Himself supervises the outcome of your battles. No system, no authority, and no powerful figure can imprison what heaven has ordained to rise. You continue unshaken because every long-term oppression resembling Israel's bondage under Pharaoh is broken. Cycles that try to repeat themselves, patterns that attempt to hold you hostage, and forces that see you as a captive lose their hold by the authority of God. Every chain is broken, every taskmaster removed, and every bondage shattered. You step forward free, carrying no residue of what once restricted you. You remain preserved because every subtle trap, me resembling Jonathan's vulnerability before the Philistines, cannot touch you. Situations designed to make you appear unarmed, unprepared, or disadvantaged lose their intended effect. God strengthens you in moments where others expect you to fall. You rise from every scenario others believed would weaken you, and you stand victorious where defeat seems certain. You walk in divine boldness because every threat resembling the harshness of Rehoboam's leadership loses authority over your life. The Lord protects you from leaders, influencers, or figures whose pride and inflexibility create unnecessary burdens. You are shielded from environments that crush others, and you remain untouched by the weight of oppressive leadership. The Lord becomes your covering when human authority fails. You stay victorious because every strategy resembling the secret wickedness of the men of Gibeah, violence hidden behind silence, is exposed before it touches your peace. God reveals every dark agenda concealed behind quiet faces, turning light into every corner of your environment. Nothing hidden, nothing silent, and nothing disguised can rise against you undetected. The Lord uncovers what was buried and destroys what was planned in the night. You walk in peace because every spirit resembling the cunning of Absalom, charming, persuasive, charismatic, but rooted in rebellion, is removed from your circle. God exposes every pretender, removes every manipulator, and filters every heart that carries dual loyalty. You remain surrounded by genuine relationships, protected from sabotage, hiding beneath friendliness. You stand immovable because every attack resembling the bold confrontation of Rabshakeh, public humiliation, loud intimidation, strategic shame, loses force before it nears your heart. The Lord protects your dignity and lifts your head when others expect you to bow in fear. No voice mocking your faith, your purpose, or your journey has the authority to redefine you. God makes every insult powerless and every accusation hollow. You remain fortified because every attempt resembling the entrapment of Samson by the Philistines is intercepted before it matures. The Lord prevents you from falling into the arms of people who do not carry your good at heart. You are protected from alliances designed to weaken your strength, diminish your joy, or sabotage your calling. God ensures that the people closest to you cannot harm what He has built within you. You continue forward because every spiritual storm, resembling the earthquake that shook the prison of Paul and Silas, becomes a breakthrough rather than a setback. What shakes you does not break you. What tries to confine you becomes the very platform God uses to expand you. Every trembling moment, every shaking circumstance, and every unexpected disruption becomes a doorway into freedom and testimony. You walk forward knowing that even the shaking is working for your good. You stay secured because every threat resembling the coordinated ambush of the Philistines against Samson is dismantled before it reaches you. The Lord denies your enemies the ability to study your patterns, your routines, or your strengths. Every attempt to map your life collapses because God confuses every watcher assigned to your rising. You walk untouched because no enemy can decode the movements that God Himself directs. You remain protected because every destructive pursuit resembling Pharaoh's chase at the Red Sea ends in the waters of divine judgment. What refuses to release you, what insists on dragging you backward, what tries to reclaim your destiny after God has freed you, is swallowed before it gets close. You walk forward unbound because the Lord ensures you never return to what He delivered you from. You continue in divine strength because every curse resembling the one spoken by Balak falls powerless. The Lord turns every negative word into a blessing, every spoken curse into ashes, and every whispered attack into divine elevation. The intention behind the curse collapses, the sender stands exposed, and the atmosphere around you rejects every dark utterance. You remain wrapped in blessing that no Balaam can overturn. You walk undisturbed because every coordinated resistance resembling the confederation of nations that attacked Jehoshaphat is scattered before your eyes. When enemies gather in numbers, heaven responds in greater numbers. Confusion enters their camp, unity crumbles, and their weapons turn against each other. You stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, untouched by forces that plan to overwhelm you. You remain fortified because every internal sabotage, resembling Ahithophel's betrayal against David, loses authority before it reaches your circle. God disrupts the counsel of betrayers and renders their strategies foolish. No advice spoken in secret with the intention to destroy you will prosper. You walk surrounded by those who uphold your purpose and removed from those who plot against it. You stay preserved because every destructive assignment resembling the sudden rebellion of Sheba, son of Bichri, loses strength instantly. God severs the influence of troublemakers, cuts off their followings, and silences their movements. No uprising, no sudden chaos, and no rebellious heart can divide the stability God has placed around you. You remain rooted, unmoved by those who stir confusion. You walk with divine clarity, because every deception resembling the smooth words of the strange woman in Proverbs is exposed before it enters your atmosphere. God removes seductive traps, financial, emotional, spiritual, and relational, before you take a step toward them. Your discernment rises like a shield, guiding your spirit away from every path not aligned with His will. You continue covered, because every sword, resembling the one aimed at the prophet Elijah by Jezebel, is broken before it enters your space. Threats formed out of anger, bitterness, or hatred lose their sharpness the moment they approach your borders. No decree spoken in wrath against your life can land. The Lord protects your days, your assignments, and your endurance. You remain protected because every false appearance, resembling the disguise of King Ahab in battle, loses its ability to deceive. God exposes hidden enemies who mask themselves in innocence. No person pretending neutrality while harboring harm can hide from divine sight. You walk safe because the Lord reveals what others attempt to conceal. You stay secure because every unseen force, resembling the lion that attacked the prophet on the road, cannot catch you in your journey. The Lord places angels along your path, ensuring that no beast, no invisible danger, no sudden threat can strike you. Your road is watched, your steps ordered, and your destiny shielded by the God who neither sleeps nor slumbers. You remain defended because every assignment resembling the secret schemes of Sanballat to lure Nehemiah into a trap loses its reach before it nears your life. The Lord blocks every invitation designed to distract you, delay you, or place you in compromising scenarios. You refuse every hidden meeting, every deceptive negotiation, every friendly trap set to pull you away from your divine mandate. You walk protected because God removes your feet from every path created for your downfall. You stay secure because every repeated attack resembling the Philistine harassment of Isaac over wells is silenced. The Lord stops those who seek to frustrate you through constant irritation, petty conflicts, and repeated sabotage. Every environment that tried to suffocate your progress is replaced by a Rehoboth, your wide, undisputed space of breakthrough. You flourish where others attempted to limit you. You walk under divine preservation because every threat resembling the sword of Abner, fueled by rivalry, ego, or vengeance, loses its authority over your steps. The Lord shields your name from the bitterness of past conflicts and protects your future from those who reread old wounds in hopes of harming your present. You remain untouchable because God defends you from every retaliation rooted in unresolved hearts. You stay rooted in peace because every force resembling the torment sent by an evil spirit upon Saul cannot enter your atmosphere. The Lord shields your mind from agitation, mental unrest, spiritual heaviness, or sudden emotional storms. Your peace remains intact, guarded by the presence that calms every turmoil. You remain steady in spirit, immune to invisible disturbances. You continue unharmed because every danger resembling the ambush planned by the 40 men who swore to kill Paul loses its grip. The Lord exposes plots formed in secrecy, reveals the intentions spoken in quiet rooms, and overturns every oath spoken against your well-being. No conspiracy survives the scrutiny of divine light. Every plan breaks before it reaches your hearing. You walk untouched because every influence resembling the seduction of Solomon's foreign wives, designed to pull your heart away from God, is torn away from your path. The Lord protects your devotion, guards your purity, and shields your spiritual focus from subtle decline. Nothing that dilutes your worship or weakens your fire can survive near your destiny. You remain fortified because every violent uprising resembling the revolt of Adonijah is dismantled before it gathers momentum. God interrupts every premature attempt to steal your place, your honor, or your inheritance. No one can crown themselves with what God has placed upon you. You continue standing under divine appointment that no usurper can override. You continue under divine safety because every plot resembling the ambush of the Syrians in the valley is overturned before it approaches. The Lord prevents coordinated attacks aimed at your blind spots and blocks every tactic crafted to catch you by surprise. Nothing formed in secret chambers, war rooms, or whispered conversations. You walk in stability because every deception resembling the craftiness of the Gibeonites, sealed with flattery, gifts, or manipulated humility, is revealed before you agree to it. The Lord keeps you from binding yourself to wrong alliances. Every covenant, commitment, or partnership designed to trap your future is broken before you take a step. You stay secure because every fear resembling the terror that seized the disciples during the storm loses its power when God speaks. Winds settle, waves quiet, and every rising fear bows to his authority. You remain calm, even in what shakes others, because you know who stands in your boat. You walk with assurance that your destiny cannot drown under storms God has already commanded to be still. You remain unshaken because every assignment resembling the wickedness of Athaliah, designed to destroy destinies before they rise, loses its authority the moment it approaches your borders. The Lord guards every seed he planted in you, every dream he assigned to you, aimed for you. Enemy can uproot what God has planted, and no force can destroy what heaven has established. You walk with confidence, knowing that your destiny is not vulnerable to premature attacks. You stay fortified because every hidden danger, resembling the marauding bands that raided Job's servants, is stopped before it enters your territory. God blocks every sudden loss, every unexpected attack, and every destructive raid aimed at your resources. What was designed to hit you without warning is rendered powerless. You live under the protection of the Almighty, untouched by the schemes darkness hoped to unleash. You walk protected because every trap resembling the pit into which Joseph was thrown is filled before you reach it. No betrayal crafted in jealousy can alter the path God designed for you. The Lord turns every pit into a passage, every setback into a stepping stone, and every betrayal into divine redirection. You rise above the reach of people who plot secretly but forget that heaven sees openly. You remain defended because every spirit resembling the demonic oppression that tormented the man in the tombs is banished from your atmosphere. No unclean influence, no tormenting presence, no spiritual disturbance can come near your dwelling. God's presence saturates your environment with peace, driving out every force that thrives in darkness. Your home becomes a sanctuary where only the presence of the Lord has authority. You stay secure because every plot resembling the wickedness of Jezebel's letter against Naboth is invalidated before it gains power. False accusations, forged narratives, and manipulated evidence lose their voice when God stands for you. No weapon formed through deception can strike you. Heaven ensures that injustice cannot take root in your story. You walk in authority because every curse resembling the words spoken by Goliath against Israel collapses before it touches your spirit. The Lord shields your identity from verbal arrows, hateful declarations, and spoken intimidation. Every negative prophecy, every malicious confession, and every destructive decree sent towards your life breaks at the gate of your atmosphere. You remain lifted above the reach of destructive words. You continue in peace because every seductive influence resembling Delilah's assignment against Samson is removed from your path. The Lord protects you from relationships that drain, connections that weaken, and people who seek access only to sabotage your strength. God surrounds you with those who build, not break, uplift, not undermine, strengthen, not weaken. You walk with discernment that sees beyond appearance into intention. You remain standing because every assault resembling the sudden attack of the Amalekites against Israel is intercepted before it nears your steps. God places angels around every vulnerable area of your life: your timing, your emotions, your responsibilities, your family, and ensures that no enemy can exploit weakness. You remain strong because God reinforces areas you did not even know needed protection. You stay covered because every attempt resembling the accusation of the Babylonian officials who envied Daniel loses credibility before it begins. The Lord shines a light on your integrity and exposes the motives of those who rise against you. No false evidence, no manipulated scenario, and no crafted story can stand against the truth God upholds in your life. You walk with honor protected by divine justice. You walk with unwavering assurance because every storm, resembling the violent wind that struck Jonah's ship, loses its chaos at the command of the Almighty. What rises to threaten your direction quiets the moment God speaks. No turbulence, no disruption, and no spiritual whirlwind can overpower the God who covers you. You journey forward under divine stability, knowing that every storm must bow to his voice. You remain covered because every threat resembling the coordinated attack of the Chaldeans against Job's livestock is halted by the hand of God before it reaches your resources. The forces that strike quickly, without warning, and with destructive intent lose access to your finances, your livelihood, and your stability. The Lord protects what you have built and preserves what you have gathered. Nothing sent to disrupt your provision can penetrate the hedge that God has established around you. You stay defended because every deception, resembling the false prophets who misled King Ahab, loses its influence before their words enter your ears. The Lord shields you from voices that appear anointed but carry no truth. He filters every counsel, every prophecy, every suggestion, ensuring that only what aligns with His will touches your spirit. You walk with clarity because God Himself is the keeper of your discernment. You walk securely because every plot resembling the ambush against Paul in Damascus, where enemies waited at the gates to kill him, fails before it forms. The Lord reroutes your steps so that danger cannot find you. He blinds the eyes of those who wait for your downfall and removes you from places where harm is anticipated. You continue in safety because your path is ordered, guarded, and hidden under divine wisdom. You remain protected because every manipulation resembling Laban's trickery toward Jacob loses its grip over your destiny. God exposes deceitful negotiations, reveals dishonest agreements, and overturns every attempt to rob you of what is rightfully yours. Your blessings are not negotiable. Your inheritance is secure. You rise with confidence because the Lord Himself ensures that your portion cannot be stolen. You stay victorious because every intimidation resembling the threats of Sennacherib's messengers loses its voice. Words designed to terrify you, intimidate you, or weaken your faith fall powerless to the ground. The Lord silences the arrogance of the enemy, dismantles their confidence, and protects your heart from fear. You stand strong because the God who answers by fire is the one who defends you. Relationships meant to distract you, and opportunities meant to derail you. No temptation, no suggestion, no disguised lie can enter your spirit. You remain protected from subtle shifts that pull others off the path of purpose. You remain steady because every storm resembling the violent shaking that surrounded Elijah on the mountain cannot confuse your spirit. The Lord separates His voice from the noise, His direction from the chaos, and His guidance from the whirlwind. You discern clearly, unaffected by the turbulence around you. You walk in revelation because God speaks to you in whispers that storms cannot drown. You stay elevated because every conspiracy resembling the plot of the princes who threw Daniel into the den loses authority before it begins. God exposes their jealousy, overturns their decisions, and shuts the mouths of every lion waiting to devour you. Where others are swallowed, you survive. Where others fall, you rise. Your testimony becomes the place where God displays His power. When you walk untouched because every spiritual fire resembling the flames that consume Nadab and Abihu cannot ignite around your life. The Lord refuses to allow strange fire, unassigned battles, unauthorized burdens, unnecessary warfare to attach itself to your spirit. He protects you from taking on responsibilities that are not yours and shields you from spiritual contamination. You remain safe under the purity of divine order. You continue in triumph because every enemy resembling death's shadow in the valley of Psalm 23 cannot touch your destiny. God walks with you, stands beside you, and covers you with His rod and staff. No valley, no darkness, no whisper of death can overshadow the life He has placed in you. You dwell under the wings of the Almighty, surrounded by angels, guarded by His presence, and preserved by His covenant. You move forward knowing that no hidden attack, no visible danger, and no spiritual force can stand against the protection sealed over your life. And now you continue in this covering, held beneath the wings of the Almighty, surrounded by the presence that never fails, strengthened by the God who watches over your rising and your resting. You walk forward, knowing that no attack, whether hidden in darkness or disguised in daylight, can break through the defense that heaven has sealed around your life. Every enemy named in Scripture becomes a reminder that the God who delivered His people in every generation is the same God who delivers you now. You stand preserved, shielded, defended, and lifted, wrapped in the assurance that your life is held in the hands of the Most High. May the peace of His protection rest upon you. May His angels guard your steps, and may His word remain your fortress all the days of your life. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Before you go, take a moment to subscribe, connect, and stay with this growing prayer family. Share this prayer with someone who needs covering, and make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss the protection, the guidance, and the strength released here daily. Until next time, may the Lord bless you, keep you, and surround you with unshakable peace. Go in strength, go in confidence, and go knowing your story has already turned into your favor.